Everyone. Now howdy. A couple of things to get into. There won't be a live stream next Saturday or Sunday, well, next week, because we won't have Wi-Fi. That'll all make sense at a later date when we tell you why. But yeah, we won't have Wi-Fi, so there won't be a live stream next week. But everything else, like the video uploads and all that lot, will still be the same. There might not be a live stream the week after, possibly. Just depends on things. But just letting you guys know that there won't be one next week. If we could all like the stream as well, that's really helpful. It just pushes it out to more people, and helps us out a lot. There's tons of stuff on the membership. As always, I'm going to mention it, so I should highly recommend you guys check out the membership, which will be in the description if you're watching this post, and if you're watching this currently, it's my top comment is linked there. Highly recommend you check that out. I've got some really interesting videos going live tomorrow for both the self-improvement and the manifestation section, so I highly recommend you check that out. And I think that's everything. So I'm going to start getting into some of the questions and comments now. So H says, Matt, as a male, how to get out of this identity of waiting for someone, how to have an identity of your own while waiting for your SP. So much of my self-worth was attached to my specific person. I have difficulty reinventing myself. I think the first thing to do is to sit with yourself and understand what your purpose in life is. We all have a purpose, or at least we all have things that could be turned into a purpose. Your job is to find what said purpose is and basically pursue it, become your own individual, pursue that and say, this is my goal. I'm going to pursue it regardless of what a specific person does, what my friends do, what my family do. And you continue going at it. A good way to find your purpose, at least in the beginning steps, could be asking yourself, if everything was paid for you, if you had every opportunity to do anything you wanted and wouldn't have to worry about bills or anything, what would you do for free? And whatever that is, that can become your purpose for the moment. That if it's working on music, start working on music in your spare time. Start having that as your goal. If it's, training to do any kind of competition, start making that training to become your main focus. And then in the interim between working and going to sleep or whatever it is that you do on your day-to-day basis, pursue those things that make you happy. If you have physical goals, pursue the physical goals. If you know that you want to read X amount of books per month, start reading the books and start actually doing the things that are on your sort of life goal to-do list and pursue them. And that will not only help give you something else to focus on, but hopefully by achieving those goals, by hitting those milestones, you'll stop looking externally to other people to say, yes, you're worth it because I say so. And you'll start saying, hey, I hit my own goals. I can achieve my own things. Therefore, to myself, I'm worth more than whatever you could say. That would be my recommendation to start. And once you actually start on that journey, you'll quite often find that the rest kind of falls into place.
Sorry, I know that you asked for male perspective, but I just want to add something to that for people in general. One thing that I think is super important after, when struggling with your identity, when it's wrapped up as a couple and you're no longer part of that couple or currently not part of that couple, is to take back the things that you did with them and reclaim them as your own. Because a lot of the time what happens when you are in separation or you're away from your person is you feel like you can't do the things that you did with them because it reminds you too much of them. And a lot of the things that you did with them were the things that you did before them, or the things that you already enjoyed. So I think a really important thing to do is reclaim your hobbies as your own and do them by yourself or do them with a friend or do them with your mum or someone and just reclaim your own hobbies back. Because so many people end up in separation and then they won't ever watch their show that they watched with their person because it reminds them of that person and stuff like that. But that's part of you as well. It doesn't just have to be part of you two together sort of thing, because pretty much before that it probably was your thing already. We attract people with similar interests and we end up doing the similar things together, but it doesn't mean that that's the only time you can do those things.
God's only says, hey Matt and Katie, howdy. Thank you for all the positivity last week. I've been doing this inner work, and yesterday my SP did come to just check on me to read my face after months since I was MIA. He didn't speak, and when I initiated the talk, he asked me to get out of his life. He hasn't unblocked me, but he did make his IG and Twitter account public. This is surely a positive sign, but still has some negative aspects to it. Unfortunately, I'm going through depression because of what's happening since last 1 year. Why do people block? It is such an immature behavior. I mean, tweets are our own when it comes to the blocking. Some people just don't like having the ability to see everything. Some people just aren't disciplined enough to not check, so they kind of do it as a blocking to try and get it out of their like system as like a final thing. Um, so I would worry less about like the blocking and kind of making a negative connotation behind it, because all that's doing is just placing your focus on the wrong things. It's just placing your focus on things that irritate you, things that don't make you happy. But I can see why it would irritate you. As for the positive sign of unlocking his, making his Twitter and Instagram account public, if you want to see that as a sign, by all means, see that as a good sign. Anything that gets your fuel going, anything that you can look at and say, yes, that's positive to me. Whether it's not positive, whether it's positive to other people or not, doesn't matter. If it's positive to you, see it as much of a positive as you possibly can. Celebrate those little wins. In terms of what's happened, obviously, yes, there is some negative still going on, which is undesirable, but that can all be subject to change. You don't have to abide by it. One thing that I will recommend, since you said that you're going through depression because of what's happening since last year, I would recommend to just try, if you can, to keep redirecting your focus back to the positive. Stop letting your emotional state, your mental state, be dictated by the memories of the past. You're the conscious creator of your reality, which means you can have anything going forward. There's no point making a shit future by sticking to a negative past. You might as well, if you can, work to let go of that past. And obviously, if it's not that easy, then just be consistent with trying to redirect away from it when those feelings come up, and start choosing a more positive future by focusing on more positive aspects of your life overall and in regards to a specific person. And ask yourself, if it still hasn't shifted, is there anything within me that I still need to work on shifting? Is there anything going on internally, whether it's my awareness, where I'm placing it, internal stories, how I'm reacting to things, those kinds of incidences? What within me do I still need to shift to be able to allow the 3D to follow that, considering your 3D reality is nothing more than a mirror of your internal reality, and then start building the blocks for a positive future. But if you see some positives in this, then definitely utilize those positives and see them as little wins. Grace Maury says, hi, I get so excited when you come on live. Thank you very much. I've been doing really well with living in the end. However, SP blocked me last night. I'm upset. I'm upset. Any tips? Hard to focus on the end when this is happening. So obviously, yeah, undesirable if someone does block you. And I get that it's not fun, but try not to let the blocking be anything that gets in your way. You say it's hard to live in the end when you're focusing on this happening. If you're focusing on the fact that you've been blocked in the first place, you're not really living in the end anyway, because where your focus goes, energy flows. If you're focusing on being blocked and then allowing it to affect your mental state, you're already looking in the wrong place. So it doesn't matter whether you're blocked or not. People were consciously manifesting people long before social media was even a thing, and being unblocked and blocked was ever even in existence. So just because you're blocked, that doesn't mean anything. That's just the matter of this 3D world playing out. You have to live internally, go back to your end result and say, hey, if I want to be unblocked and get that result, I have to stop focusing on the fact I'm blocked, and I have to instead start focusing on the reality of being unblocked. Because similar to the previous comment, if you have something happen and then you allow it to affect your mental state, you're now utilizing the past to recreate a negative future, as opposed to saying, hey, no, I want this positive outcome and I'm going to focus on that instead. So I get that it may not necessarily be the easiest thing to deal with in the moment, but allowing that blocking to be something that affects your mental state is only going to create more of it. You may as well do your best to say, hey, I'm blocked, it doesn't matter anymore. What's done is done. Now let me focus on what I want. Because if you want a different outcome, you have to have a different kind of focus, and it takes some discipline, and it does take some commitment to say, I know that I'm not thinking the right things right now, let me withdraw it in. If you want to have a different outcome, you need to be thinking different thoughts. H said, oh, it skipped. H says, yo, what up, cuties? Not a lot. What up on your end? Random Name says, how do you guys interpret feeling it real? I've come to I'm assuming it says interpret it as feels neutral or meh. If we had what we wanted, that version would not overly excited about what we have. So feeling it real, in my sort of understanding, is feeling as though it is true for you in that moment. Whether it's, you're doing 10 minutes of affirmations, and within that 10 minutes, you're kind of just trying to feel into it as best you can and go, yes, these things I'm speaking are my truth. Or if you're visualizing, you're trying to really like immerse yourself into that scene. That's how I depict as feeling it real. I do think that the more that you persist in feeling it real, the more normal and met it does become. Because like you say, once you already have something, it doesn't really feel as exciting. It's kind of like when you get a phone, it's great, but then after like 2 or 3 days, you're kind of like, whatever, it's just a phone. And I think this is a very similar instance. And I think feeling it real is to just feel as best you can as though it is yours. As soon as you're done in your affirmations, you can continue to persist in the idea of, yes, whatever I just affirmed for is mine. Once you come out of that visualization or scripting or whatever, you're not immediately going back to where is it? Why is it not here? Because that's no longer feeling it to be on yourself. So feeling it real, in my opinion, is just doing what you can with your techniques to say, this is my truth, and feeling it to be such.
I was just going to say, I get the warm tingles like at the beginning, and then they kind of like disappear off. I know like that's when it's there for me personally, is that like I've just been gifted something and it's like, oh my God, this is incredible. And then after a couple of days, it's like, yeah.
Lily M says, hi guys. Howdy, howdy, Lily. Glad to have you here. Gods only says, Katie, your nails look awesome. Love them.
Oh, thanks. I went for a different shape this time. So normally I have coffin, and this reminds me of duck beaks because they kind of fan out for some reason. They're meant to be straight. They're not very straight, but
she's done nothing but complain about them since she's got them. You have a non-stop.
They're just not what I was expecting. And
everyone knows
every time I try something new, I'm like, I hate it. I just can't help that. And then after a while, I might change my mind. But I think next time I'm going to try almond and see how that works.
Don't know what that is. Megzy.
Coffin, but rounded.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Megzy says, this so important. I make sure to still go to places I enjoy, listen to music I like, and things I shared with SP. Absolutely. I mean, the point that Katie made was very important, that if you do give up everything that you used to enjoy when you're in your relationship, you are basically saying, here, I'm giving the biggest parts of myself to take with you. And obviously you lose yourself in that. Really good point.
And you're also like massively admitting that they're not there. Like if you continue living your life the way that they were, it was when they were there, you know, that's a much better place to manifest from than going, they're not there, I'm sad, I'm going to sit in my bedroom all day.
H says, I asked it because yesterday I was trying to write what makes me feel special. I couldn't write one line. With my SP, I felt so special. Well, it might be worth considering why you felt so special then. What does she make you feel? What does she do for you that made you feel so special? And see if there's anything that you can do for yourself in that regard. Or see if there's anything else that you can, because basically once you get more of what you are as opposed to what you want. So if you're sitting kind of empty and not really feeling whole, you're not going to receive anything that makes you feel further that. A lot of the time, this is why confident people seem to get everything. This is why people that, you know, the silly term of like, once you're in a relationship, that's when everyone seems to want you. It's because you've finally got that thing and now you're not in need of it. You're in sort of abundance of it, so to speak, the love from a relationship. And as a result, it comes in more. Similar thing here. If you're finding that you can't think of one special thing, then you're not in a state of wholeness. And as a result, it's going to be very difficult for anything external to make you feel special. So try to consider why you can't feel, why you can't write anything that makes you feel special, and see if there is anything that you got from her that you could provide for yourself, even if it's not like the same actions, but at least the same experiences and feelings. And that might be a good sort of kickstart point. Aiden Bishop Music says, howdy, what's both your thoughts on the Mummy trilogy of films? Okay, so the first one, great. Second one, the third one, bollocks. And then the remake was quite fun. We watched the remake not too long ago, but Katie fell asleep halfway through, so she has no idea what went on. I think the Mummy set of films are like all great to watch for enjoyment, but if you actually look deeper into them in films, I definitely think they get worse the further they go along. But I really liked the Mummy. I thought it was a great concept, a great idea. Did you ever?
I fell asleep.
Oh, yeah.
I watched the first one. I don't know if I ever watched any of the other ones. I don't know.
We watched the first two together.
Oh, okay. So the second one is not very memorable because I did not remember it.
It's the one with the big scorpion guy at the end.
No, see, I don't even slightly remember. No. So, yeah.
And then it says also, how's your Minecraft world coming along? Yeah, it's going good. At the moment, it's basically me trying to do everything and Kate blowing all my shit up because
No, that happened one time and it was an accident.
I'm still mad, but it's coming along well.
I built
it's enjoyable
a pink house and he hates it
so
much.
ugly. It's so ugly.
It's beautiful. It is like a horse barn with a house above it.
A pink horse barn.
And it's so pink.
But no, it's coming along well. I'm having a good old time. I'm surprisingly not out of my phase yet. Usually they only last like a week or two, but I'm sort of still enjoying myself. So yeah, it's going well. Thanks for asking. Lovely Bone says, I need this live today. He pulled away again, but I know that my heart didn't lie and he's the one persisting. Absolutely. There's nothing you can do more than persisting and sort of seeing what within you may need to still be shifted if you still desire that thing. If you have a desire, there's no point in ever looking into what you're losing or what you're lacking as a basis to say, oh, this proves that I can't have it, because all you're doing is just furthering how much you don't have it. So the worst thing you could do, not the worst thing, sorry, the most of the negative that you should be considering, if anything, is what within me still needs to shift. What do I need to change about my assumptions still, if anything? What do I need to change about how I react to things, if anything? Once you've considered that, then get back onto the persisting and let this just die. Let whatever happen that you don't like or whatever negatives have come up just be left in the past. It doesn't benefit you to take it with you. It jumped again. Got to find where I was. Oh, by the way, guys, our stream today is only 45 minutes long, so half an hour left because we got some stuff. Well, I got some stuff that I need to do afterwards, so that it will be a bit of a shorter one today. A says, can't stick to anything for more than 2 days. Feel like nothing is working and can't stop staring at the 3D. SB contacts me for 2 to 3 days, then stops. Is manifestation even real? And is he even getting my affirmations? Well, I think it's a very unfair thing to do to yourself to not even persist for more than 2 days and then start to question if manifestation is even real. It's a mindset shift. You're changing your state of consciousness. You're taking yourself out of not having all of these things to placing yourself in the mindset of having all of these things. And while manifestation in and of itself can be instantaneous, you can get that result immediately. You can get that message or that relationship or whatever, like the blink of an eye. To only persist for 2 days, while, as you said there, can't stop staring at the 3D and stuff like that, and then reacting when they don't sort of show up for you after a set amount of days, it's not really fair to say, is this even real? Because you're not actually abiding by it effectively enough. You know, there's plenty of people out there that will be able to say to you, I had to persist for like X amount of time, but then it came in and it came in better than before. But it was because of that, like persisting. There's things that I've persisted for 6 months for and eventually got it after the 6 months. And you're going to have to persist for more than 2 days. And one thing to also consider as well is that if you're constantly looking at the 3D for validation or for results, by allowing the 3D to affect your mental state in any kind of negative way, and I hate using this term, but it's the best way to describe it, and this goes for anyone, not just you specifically, you've become a victim to your 3D reality. If your internal state is affected by the external, you're a victim to that circumstance. And we all have those situations. Like the kids piss me off so much, and I'm constantly fucking reacting to the kids because they annoy me. But
I'm talking about them being annoying, therefore creating the fact that they are annoying.
They there's nothing I can do about them. Even my awareness can't fix them. But yeah, by being a victim to your circumstances, you're just creating more of it, kind of like as Katie just said there. So if you want to actually see if this is real and actually have the best shot at doing it, you need to understand the thoughts, the reactions, the habits, the feelings, all of those kinds of things that you're no longer going to have. And then you need to actually persist for more than 2 days. You need to actually shift your mindset. You need to become this new version. That's like saying I'm going to go to the gym for 2 days and then never go again because I didn't become the size that I want to become. Or simultaneously, if you can only persist for 2 days, that's like imagining the idea that you did somehow become the exact body type that you want within 2 days and then thinking you never have to go gym again to maintain it. Even though you may not necessarily have to do affirmations all day, every day, once you get your desire, you at least need to keep that same mental state of saying, yes, this is mine. Yes, everything's amazing. You can't let your mind then go to shit. So either way, you do need to persist for more than 2 days. And the first thing that I would recommend you do whenever you notice the 3D or notice that you're not being messaged or anything like that is to remove your awareness from it. A good way to do so is breath work. Literally just taking a few deep breaths will kind of recenter yourself, and then you can choose something more positive. But in realistically, if you want consistent and efficient results, you're going to be needing to have more discipline on yourself than giving up after 2 days. Because you say that you feel like nothing is working. If after 2 days you feel like nothing's working, then chances are you weren't even persisting properly for those 2 days for you to kind of go, oh, I give up. Usually giving up isn't just like a one-time thing. It's usually built up over, oh, still not working, still not working, still not working, and then giving up. So take of that what you will.
I just want to say real quick that if I was you personally, I'd look at this in a really positive light. So you persisted for 2 days and got 2 to 3 days worth of contact from that. That is like pretty much a 100%, you know, I did it for 2 days and I got 2 to 3 days worth of what I was after. So if you were to just continue with that momentum of every day getting an extra day of contact from him, that's in turn just going to develop into a lot more, you know, consistent contact, especially if you can get your thoughts in the right direction for those 2 days, heading it. I just think that that's a really good, do you know what I mean? A good ratio right there. 2 days of work for 2 days of contact.
Yeah,
I just think, like, if you look at it from that perspective, rather than I've done it for 2 days and he's not my boyfriend, I feel like that's a much better space to start from. And then, just kind of go with what you said. But I feel like 2 days for 2 to 3 days is quite good.
Luna says, do you think it's possible to become rich without working? I think it's possible to make money without working. Now, the term of rich without working, I think there are definitely ways, for example, winning the lottery and stuff. However, this world, and I've said this in quite a few sort of videos in the past, requires an element of balance. I feel like there's always some form of exchange in any kind of incidents. And being that money in and of itself doesn't really exist, it's an exchange of value. I feel like you could become rich without working, but then to maintain it, you have to at least do something with it because, like I said, an exchange of value, the people that are extremely selfish and only take seem to end up having some massive thing that just rips all of that away from them because all they've done is take and never actually give. This is one of the reasons why giving is one of the best ways to receive, because it's that exchange and balance. So you definitely can become rich without working, i.e. the lottery, i.e. sort of things of that nature. But I do think that if you want to maintain that kind of stuff, there will be that element of at least providing some form of value in order for that money to continue to flow in. Even if it's like something that you enjoy doing, not to say that you have to work like and hate what it is that you're doing, but usually if you want to maintain something, there's that exchange, sort of like the North and South Pole kind of polarity thing. Jakaya, apologies if I said that wrong, says, hey Matt, my SP says he loves me but don't want to be with me because his career is more important than our relationship. He wants to focus only on his career. What can I do about it? What if he moves on? He wants me to move on. Okay, so in this instance, again, sort of similar to what I've said to other people, you don't want to be allowing the 3D circumstances to sort of change your mental state because then you're becoming a victim to it. Instead, reside in an end result where you two are together. If you want to have some affirmations or something to cover this specifically, you could say, despite how much, is it work that you mentioned? Yeah, career. Despite how important his career is, he still has time to be in a loving relationship with me, or something like that. Your subconscious mind doesn't care whether he wants to work, whether he doesn't want to work, whether you're across the country or not. Your subconscious mind doesn't care. All it needs is the direction to say we're in this relationship, and it will make it happen regardless of what's going on in front of you. And that same point applies to any manifestation, whether it's being blocked or anything like that. So because of this, decide what it is that you want. You can either have him working on his career while being in a relationship with you. You can either have him just being in a relationship with you, whatever it is that you want. Decide what you want and then reside within a mental state where that's the case. Reside within an awareness of, yes, we're in this relationship. Anytime the 3D pops up and says, no, you're not, notice it, become aware of it, choose something different. You are in control of your thoughts. You're in control of your awareness, your reactions, all of that kind of stuff. You got to choose one that actually benefits your end result instead of allowing the external to choose for you by shifting your mental state. Kerry says, hey, I don't feel comfortable manifesting my SP right now, but I can't read. Hey, I don't feel comfortable manifesting my SP right now, but can I manifest like I'm everyone's type? And I have figured out if you say is a fact after or before saying your affirmation, it helps. So yeah, I mean, you can focus on that. You can do whatever it is that you want, whatever desire you have, you can reside within a reality in which is the case. So if you want to go with that focus, then go with that focus. You don't have to manifest your specific person right now if you don't want to, but yes, you absolutely can focus on that. And if saying it's a fact afterwards or prior, and it helps you, by all means, continue to do so. Aiden Bishop Music says, you said in one live stream you're interested in vocals. When writing a song, how do you start? Do you start with set lyrics or start with music first, then develop the lyrics and vocals? Okay, so in my band, I don't write the lyrics. So I'm a vocalist for a band, and they are, I want to say metaphorical. It's probably the best way that I can describe it. Like each one of our songs so far, you can interpret differently depending on where you are in life. It's not like, oh, this is a breakup song, or oh, this is a song about drugs. Like it's none of that. It's like you could interpret it any kind of way. And because of that, my band members do all the lyric writing and I don't, because I don't, not that I don't like the lyrics that we've got. I do. I think they're interesting, but it's not how I would personally write a song. And I definitely intend, once our band actually releases something, to start taking more of a lead and actually start making songs that are interesting to me from a lyrical standpoint. But I'm just letting him go with it because there's like a whole backstory behind the band, which is why I've not really got involved in it. However, and to answer your question from that front, they started with the music. They had all the instrumentals. They've got about 10 to 12 tracks instrumentally written out, and then they do the lyrics afterwards. As for lyrics that I've written in the past, when I was doing my own kind of things, like many years ago, I would start with a story and do the lyrics first, and then try and find parts that I thought sounded interesting. And yeah, Katie doesn't know any of this stuff. She hasn't ever seen any of it. I think my mum still has one of my notepads with some of the stuff still in it that's stashed somewhere. But I would do the lyrics first with like an idea of the story in mind, and then try to think of like any kind of instrumental that would go well with it, that would complement it from a sound perspective. So I suppose both, but it depends on what. I think the best way to do it is music first, though.
I was literally going to say that you are probably one of like the best kind of storytellers. So I can imagine if you were to like write lyrics, it would be stories, and then you literally said it, and I was like,
yeah,
but yeah.
Still need to work on my novel. Summer Rain says, "Hey Matt, hey Katie, howdy. Glad to have you here." Racina, apologies if I said that wrong, says, "I'm a student. I'm also manifesting SP. I want to manifest success in my career and my SP. What is your opinion about that?" Well, you absolutely can do both. Your entire life is a manifestation of you anyway, whether it's conscious or unconscious. Everything that you're experiencing right now is dictated by your dominant thoughts and assumptions. So if your entire life is based on you anyway, there's no reason why you couldn't just be a bit more conscious when it comes to love and relationships, be a little bit more conscious when it comes to your career and such. So my opinion on that is absolutely do both. If you want to do structured affirmations, for example, do 5 minutes in the morning for one, 5 minutes in the morning for the other, and then at night the same thing. And then anytime either one of them comes up during the day, just try to end those thoughts in a positive and go on like that. There's no reason why you have to do one thing only, because your mind has, I think it's something like 70,000 thoughts per day anyway. So why not just direct those more toward what you want to experience in specific categories, as opposed to letting them be completely random and all over the place.
You can also combine thoughts. Like, I feel like people forget that quite often. You can do a combination of everything that you want in life in one affirmation, or everything that you want in life in one visualization. Like, that is completely okay to do. You can sit there and think about you working in your dream job when you get a phone call from your dream partner, and you answer the phone and go, "Yeah, I'm just at work at blah blah." And, you know, like you can do whatever you like in your mind. So you can do all of it in one hit. Like, if you are like me, who has nearly no time whatsoever to do that kind of thing, because I don't make time for it because I'm not very good at that. But I just combine it all in one hit, and I think about everything in one go, and that is perfectly acceptable too.
Yeah. Jakaya says, "We are in," apologies if I said that wrong, you'll have to correct me somewhere down in the thing if I am. "We are in no contact currently, although give me some suggestions about my situation, please." So I answered you a second ago, and I imagine you wrote this before I got around to answering that. So I think I've already given you some suggestions, but if what I have given you wasn't enough, by all means, just let me know. It's just I know that we're a little bit behind, so you probably wrote that before I'd got around to your first comment. Lovely Bone says, "You guys look so cute together. Thank you very much. And then we were meant to be together." Glad to hear it. And hopefully it all turns out exactly how you want it and you can enjoy your relationship. Summer Rain says, "Is there anything or anyone that can't be manifested? I mean, do you know of someone that just never got what they wanted?" So yes, I do. But the thing with this kind of scenario is you have to consider why. And a lot of the people, whether it's people that I've worked with or people that I've seen in comments that have sort of complained about stuff, the thing that I notice is that the people that don't get what they want either A, are still in the process of doing so, or B, they could not hack it, so to speak. They just could not get their thoughts right. They couldn't stop the reactions. They couldn't stop doing XYZ thing, and then they gave up. So it's a very difficult question for me to answer, purely because everyone will be different in how they go about things. And like I said, some people will still be on that journey, and other people would have just gone, you know, fuck it, I'm done even trying and given up. I don't think, assuming you actually persist in a correct manner and you really do what you can, there is anything that you can't really have that is outside of sort of laws, such as I can't jump to the moon, for example, or like manifest the dead bag. But in terms of like, is there a person that can't be manifested? No, I don't think that that's the case. I think the only reason why people haven't manifested a person is because, like I said, it's either still in the works or they just couldn't hack it and couldn't get their thoughts right and then gave up prior to doing so. I feel like there's infinite realities in it, and in which case, by extension, there's infinite possibilities. And therefore, I don't really abide by the idea that there are things or people that can't be manifested. except for specific rules such as the dead or things that are physically impossible, such as me jumping to the moon and things of that nature.
I think the only things that you cannot have are the things that you believe you can't have. That's literally it. If you believe you can't get something, then you will never be able to get it because you haven't changed your core belief of the fact that you can't have it. Like when people say, oh, well, you can't manifest celebrities. You only can't manifest celebrities because as a whole, people believe that you will never have the opportunity to run into them. Therefore, they'll never know you exist kind of thing. But that's just your own belief. You're sat there thinking, I'm never going to run into Beyonce. Therefore, she'll never know I exist. Therefore, I cannot manifest Beyonce, you know? So like it's your own beliefs that stop you getting something. So if there's something deep in you that you probably don't notice, that's when you can't have something. Obviously, I also believe you can't manifest the dead and that sort of thing. But I think that's the only reason why people can't have something is because as a crowd, we kind of have like this mentality of like, oh, I'll never win the lottery. Oh, I'll never. And it rubs off on you. And then unless you spend your time working on that and fixing that and flipping that thought, it's going to stay in there deep inside you and you'll just not be able to turn it around, sort of thing.
Okay, so Mistral Manisha, apologies if I said that wrong, says, hello, hope everyone has a good weekend. Hope you do also. And then Kerry says, and everyone wants to go out with me. Sorry, I forgot to put that. So that was in relation to manifesting that everyone is interested in them. Yeah, like I said, you can still go with that assumption. One thing I will say though is, and this is more food for thought as opposed to like you have to change what you're doing, is this idea of like trying to become everyone's type and everyone wants to go out with you. Realistically, yes, it would be nice, obviously, if like everyone was interested in you, but have to consider why you want everyone to be interested in you. Is it kind of like for a validation reason? Is it because if everyone was interested in you, you'd kind of feel special enough? If you're coming at it from that kind of angle, I would recommend focusing more on your self-concept to sort of become worthy enough within yourself without needing the validation from the external. But like I said, that's just food for thought. If you can still go for what you want to do, just thought it was worth considering. And then Mistral Manisha says, super cute nails.
Thank you.
And then Meg C says, the nails are fire.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to get my nails done and get some compliments for my nails.
Don't go for this shape. They look like duck beaks.
Wait.
Where
was I?
you should have talons. I feel like you'd look nice with talons or stilettos.
Aren't they a shoe, stilettos?
Yeah, but you can also have stilettos. It's like a really thin version of coffin. Like really thin.
Why would they name it the same thing? It's so confusing. I'm confused.
Well, they're called almond, coffin. They're named after the shape of the thing they are. So a stiletto heel is really thin and pointy with a flat end. So stiletto nail, thin and pointy with a flat end. Almond is the shape of an almond. Coffin, the shape of a coffin.
Ridiculous. Lola says, my SP went ghost a few days ago. I'm trying to fight my energy to stay positive and manifest her return and be able to keep her and get commitment. Okay, so obviously apologies that it went bad a few days ago, but I would recommend, if you can, to not even try fighting it. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you need to feel, not in like a dwelling, oh, woe is me state, but allow yourself to feel it through so you can sort of understand what your body and mind need to actually effectively let this go. Because if you're in a state of fighting something, you're clearly being affected by this mental state, by this 3D circumstance, and it's affecting your mental state, which is then meaning that you're trying to create from the wrong place anyway, and it's going to be mentally exhausting. What I would honestly recommend for you is not, again, from a dwelling standpoint, but allow yourself to feel these feelings through. Allow yourself to understand what you need in order to effectively let them go. Practice breath work and stuff like that. And then when you're in a better mindset, better place, that's when you can come back at your manifestation in a much better mindset, in a much more empowered way, and have a much better chance of making it happen. Because if you try to create from a negative mindset, you're not really going to have much success doing so. Not that you're going to have not that you're not going to have a lot of success doing so, but it's going to be more an exhausting thing. You're going to have a lot more to fight, and therefore it's going to be a lot harder for you. You would be better off taking a break, sharpening your tools, and then coming back better than before. Sylvia says, hi Matt, can you please tell about robotic affirmations? Do you have to be focused on them, or can you just say them on autopilot all day long whilst doing other things, having other thoughts at the same time? Yeah, You can do that basically. The interesting thing about robotic affirmations is like people are like, but is it using your brain? And it's like, well, in order for you to even conjure the words that you're saying for your robotic affirmation, to a degree, you're using your mind to think of it. You know, you don't just do something without some kind of mental cognition going on in the background to make it happen. So yes, you can do robotic affirmations on autopilot all day if you want to do it, and you can do it while doing other things. It's absolutely fine. The main thing is to just do it as opposed to worrying about it. Just actually get it done. Or if you're finding that you're not really making good use of it, then maybe try to take 5 to 10 minutes out here and there to just actually sit there and do them. But yes, you can do robotic affirmations while doing other things, and it's perfectly fine. Lovely Bones. Did I say Lonely Bones earlier? I think I might have said Lonely Bones earlier instead of Lovely Bones. Apologies.
Is that in reference to the book or the film, Lovely Bones?
No idea.
It's a very sad book.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Katie, what made you change your mind about Matt? That's what. Moving on.
His face.
Now, go on. You go and answer it.
So basically, I was very set on never ever talking to him again, and didn't want to see his stupid face or anything. But no, basically, I was at home, and I, like, on the day that I went and reconnected with him, like I was just basically just at home. I had a bunch of plans for that day, and sorry, I'm getting distracted. So I had a bunch of plans for that day, and I just cancelled them all, and off I went. It was a complete flip around, like a switch. Just, yeah, I don't particularly know what actually changed my mind. I had like moments before that where I'd like write out text and I was going to text him, or you know, like I'd pick up my phone and I was going to phone him and everything like that. But then like every time I'd still be able to fight it, and then just that one day I was like, no, I can't fight it. Off I go. And
yeah. H says about feeling it real. Not indifference is also feeling. Does that mean say note? Because you put not 3.
Note. Yeah.
About feeling it real. No, indifference is also a feeling. Yeah, indifference is the opposite of hate opposite of love in my opinion. I don't think the opposite of love is hate, because I feel like if you hate something, especially from a romantic standpoint, there's still that emotional attachment to it to a degree. So I actually feel like the opposite of love is indifference. So take of that what you will. Not really in relation to what was said. It was just a fun point. I think a lot of people misinterpret. Princess Fee 333 says, is it better to imagine a scene with SP himself, or is imagining telling my friend that SP and I are dating equally effective? The scene doesn't matter as long as it helps you get into the state of being with your specific person in the way that you want to be with them. So if telling your friend I'm in this relationship with person makes you genuinely feel like you're in that relationship internally, even if just for the moments while doing that visualization, absolutely fine. You know, like it doesn't have to be the perfect scene. Obviously, yes, having a scene that resonates most with you would be the perfect scene. But it's not like I have to do a scene with person in order for my subconscious mind to know that it's about me and that person, because it's the state that it puts you in. So if you're visualizing you telling a friend and it helps you feel, yes, I'm actually telling my friend about my relationship, perfectly fine. Megs says, I've been working on self-concept and feeling better about myself and who I am. That's good. Less triggered by the 3D. Also good. Still a bit hard sometimes, but persisting and able to pick myself back up easier. Also good. And on bad days, still doing my affirmations, meditations, breath work, but allow myself to have time to feel what I need to feel, because I know still important to process emotions. Overall, though, huge changes in how I react and how I'm able to get myself grounded again. And in the end state, less anxiety, and can feel my depression, OCD, BPD be less than ever has been. That's really good. So that's exactly what I would recommend most people try to do. Work on that self-concept, work on feeling better for yourself, better within yourself. Practice stuff like affirmations, meditations, breath work, all of that kind of stuff, and do what you can. As Megs puts here, gotta find it, but allowing myself to have time to feel what I need to feel, because I know it's important to still process emotions. Having emotions, having reactions is perfectly fine. It's what you do with it that matters. If you sit and dwell in it from a victim state of, oh, woe is me, then that's obviously not the right thing. But having them come up and then go, okay, I see that I'm feeling this way. Let me address this effectively, and then go on forward once you have, perfectly fine. And if anything, it's ideal to do so. So it sounds like you're doing really good, Megs, and hopefully you carry that on. Travel Junkie L says, Matthew, I just watched your most recent video and loved it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm definitely going to start thinking about the long-term consequences to my action to motivate myself. Absolutely. I actually have in the video going live in the members only tomorrow a point about how so many people get lost in the day-to-day things that they kind of forget about the future and actually work towards the future. And it's a very big thing that once I started shifting, it made like a big difference for me. Now that there's more people, I'm actually going to say it tomorrow in the self-improvement video for the members only channel, members only membership. I have a new style of video going up, which is like a PowerPoint style where I've taken quotes and I've taken like things from studies and stuff like that and kind of thrown them all into a PowerPoint and then spoken about it. I think it was a really good video. I had a lot of fun doing it. So one, I'd highly recommend signing up to the membership, which is the very first comment in this live stream is the link to it, or it's in the description of this live stream if you're interested. I'd really recommend you go and check it out for yourself when it goes live. But two, if the people who are signed up to the membership enjoy that style of video where I have like quotes and references and studies and all that kind of stuff that I could sort of show on a screen with my little head in a box in the top right corner explaining it, and if it's well received, then I probably will be doing more kinds of videos like that for the main channel. Because A, I really enjoyed doing the video. B, I think it's really good for information because actually I can pull up studies, I can pull up statistics, I can pull up all of that kind of stuff and actually have it there visually. And it's fresh, you know, it was something new for me that I'd not done before and I enjoyed it. So if it's well received tomorrow, then I'll probably be doing more of that kind of stuff in the future. And I recommend you go and watch it, sign up for the self-improvement membership to see it. And yeah, just wanted to make that point while I could. Geneva says, how do you know you do everything right when not seeing movement in the 3D? For example, I think you told a story where it took you 6 months to get promotion. How did you know you do manifesting right? Yeah, so it was 6 months to get a pay rise for the company I used to work for. So it took me a month to get the job for them after being rejected twice. But then doing for the pay rise, it took me about 6 months, give or take. You'll know when you're doing it right if you're being committed to the process. Now, one thing that I definitely didn't do, which is something that I think a lot of people do, which they shouldn't do, is question if they're doing it right. You know, if you're questioning that you're doing it right, you're by extension saying, I don't have it yet, which is why I'm asking, am I doing this right? When's it coming? Is this going to make it happen? So that's the first thing that I would recommend cutting out is asking yourself, am I doing this right? Just because I don't think it necessarily benefits you. I don't think it's a bad idea to kind of ask what needs to be shifted if there is anything glaring in front of you. Like you're really like having a bad time with it and you need to say, hey, what within me still needs to shift. But if you're not really having like neither a good nor a bad time with it, it would probably be more beneficial for you to not even question why it's not here yet, because obviously you want to stay aligned to the end result. And the way that I knew that I was doing it right was I was consistent with my affirmations. I was as vigilant as I could be with my thoughts and the natural reactions that I had, and I stayed aligned to that end result as best I could. That's all manifestation is staying aligned to your end result as best you could through habits, thinking, and feeling. If I knew that for the most part I was aligned with it, I knew I was doing the right thing and it was just a matter of time until it came in. And the best thing that you can do for yourself is to stop looking in the 3D for the proof that you're doing it right or for the evidence of the 3D or anything like that. Yeah, movement is great, but why do you need movement? Like what? Like realistically, why do we need signs? Why do we need movement? That's all just us coming from a lack position saying, here, show me something to prove that it's working. And if you're needing proof that it's working, you're already coming from the wrong mindset. So the best thing that you could do for yourself is to just drop that mentality entirely. Understand that you need to stay vigilant with your thoughts. Understand that you need to stay consistent with your affirmations, and then just persist. Regardless of what you're seeing in front of you, persist. That's what's going to create it. Oh, Meg's added to her comment as well. I've added breathwork to my routine within the last week and highly recommend. Huge changes in staying grounded and not reacting to things and instantly switching how I feel. Highly suggest Wim Hof video. Yeah, breathwork is amazing. And tomorrow's members only video for the manifestation channel is all actually about essentially that, how you can utilize breathwork for reducing reactions and what it can do for you. So I'm glad that you pointed that out because A, it allowed me to plug my membership again. And B, it's a very good point. And a lot of people should utilize breathwork a whole lot more than I think we do. Divya says, I got contact but ignored it as he texted me saying that he wanted to say hi and wanted me to call him. He called me thrice but didn't say anything else, so I just ignored. Will he say what I want? If you persist, I mean, that's obviously good evidence in the right sort of step forward. So if you persist in what it is that you want, it's only a matter of time before it shifts and gets you the full extent. I saw a great, I can't remember who it was, and I wish I'd taken note of who it was. But I saw a great analogy the other day. It's just like a partial manifestation or like movement or anything like that is the same as sort of seeing a flower sprout. Like, yeah, it's great. but you know that's not the end of the flower. So if you're not getting that full extent of what you want, you don't then go, oh, this flower's broken. You continue to water it until the flower fully grows. It might have been in my comment section when I was asking the analogies, or I might have seen it on the internet or something. I can't remember where I saw it, but basically someone compared it to that of like, if you get a partial manifestation, that's just the flower sprouting. You don't then go and chop it up saying this one's a dud. You continue to water it and let it bloom fully. Definitely something you should consider here. Sapuri next, apologies I said that wrong, says, hey everyone, be sure to hit the like button. Absolutely. Thank you very much for mentioning that. I forgot to be honest. I'm going to do a couple more at random and then going to have to head off because it's a shorter live stream today, unfortunately. So I'm going to pick this one. Okay, this is 3 all in one. Harry Haran says, hey guys, you look awesome. Thank you very much. I have a question. It's about living in the end. I was looking for an apartment to stay and I wasn't affirming from the end. I was just saying I will surely get a great place to stay. As you can see, it's the future tense and I didn't actually affirm from the end. I didn't do any other techniques. I ended up manifesting a perfect place. How is this possible? So it's not that you can't do future tense. It's just that when you do future tense, you are more than likely pushing it to a future event. This is one thing as well that I think a lot of people don't do or don't realize that they're doing is when they're doing that future tense, they're still to a degree considering themselves in it. You know, I will get that perfect place and they're kind of imagining their perfect place and their subconscious mind is just assuming that the perfect place is in existence right now if you're bringing a picture to your mind. So it's not that you can't do future tense and if you ever do, then that's it, game over. You're never going to get your manifestation. It's just if you want your subconscious mind to make things happen in the fastest way possible, if you really wanted to come into position now, or not now, but like as soon as you can, it is more ideal to do it from the present tense. Because if you say I will have, you're potentially showing your subconscious mind, I don't have it yet, it's in the future, it's in the future, in the future. But one thing also to consider is when you're saying I will have my perfect place, there is still that imagery in your mind of you going to that perfect place. So it could have just been that by even picturing yourself in it enough when saying I will have, you're creating it from there. But I recommend present tense as a guide and a most optimal way of doing it, not the rule.
Sorry, I was just replying to one that I thought you wouldn't get to. Just because there's no longer a YouTube membership. Just
Oh, okay, I might as well answer it now. So Katie Johnson says, is there an advantage to buy me a coffee site versus YouTube membership? Is it worth it either way, but just more convenient to do YouTube as a subscriber? So the advantage, okay, so from the advantage standpoint of buy me a coffee, from my perspective, YouTube only allowed me to have members. And the only thing that I could do with the members was give them members only videos. They got like badges next to their name in live streams and in comments. And I think that was it. Yeah, that was basically it. Just that. And there were other things that I could add, like a Discord and stuff like that. But anything else from the YouTube membership was basically just restricted to badges and exclusive videos. Additionally to that, they took 30% off of the profits, which meant that most of you paying were actually just paying most of it to YouTube. And it was like, I didn't really feel like it was fair on you guys to pay such a large chunk of your amount to go to YouTube for the stuff that I do essentially. Whereas Buy Me a Coffee allows me to, they take a much smaller percentage. It's like a couple of P, whereas YouTube was taking like a couple of pounds from each individual. So not only that, do you lose less of your contribution to the site, but it also allows me to do other stuff such as give bonuses, the worksheets, the routines and all that kind of stuff, and I can price them as well as price them specifically for members. So it allowed me to give more and actually say, here, because you're a member, you can get this at a cheaper price. And it was a site that allowed me to do all of that without me having to have like separate places that you had to constantly go outside of YouTube. So it was more convenient from me as a creator giving you guys a membership because I could do more. And also from your guys' perspective, you could get more out of the membership. People were paying like £4 before or something like that. People were paying like £4 or something for the membership before, and all they could get was exclusive videos and badges. Whereas now, yes, it's £6, but with that, you get 2 free worksheets, a free planner, a free routine, discounts on all the other worksheets, discounts on my coaching, exclusive content. There's going to be exclusive members only live streams going live soon, and so much more, which I can all give as part of the app. So it's better for me as a creator and you as a consumer, which is why I ended up going for it anyway. And I will do one more.
Can I reply real quickly to Christina and say thank you very much for all of your kind comments, and also good job. I'm proud of
Where's
you.
Christina?
Christina is Red Bull Royd.
Okay. So Red Bull Royd says, I want to say I love the channel. Y'all are the best. Thank you very much. Also, I'm Christina. How are y'all? And also, I like your hair, girl.
And then there was another one saying that she's got the confidence to go and speak to a guy and ask him out. And it's thanks to your channel. I just thought, well done.
Thank you. Well, first off, thank you very much for the kind words. Really appreciate it. And yeah, congratulations for having the confidence to do so. And please let us know, not next week, because there won't be a live stream next week, more than likely. But the live stream after, or in an email. I don't mind either way. Let us know that you've got the success coming from it, and I'd love to hear it. Solani says, hi, Matt and Katie. Howdy, howdy, Solani. Thank you for showing up. And I'm going to do one more just because I started to read it before Katie wanted to speak about the other thing. And then I'm going to have to head off. Meg says, it's to do with the membership. Highly suggest the membership. So worth it. I had to cancel mine for now due to finances as I'm moving again soon, but do it. Well, thank you very much for the plug, the shout out for the membership. I really do appreciate it. And for anyone who didn't get their questions answered in this video or this live stream, if you want them answered, just comment them once this goes live and I'll answer them via sort of responses. Going to do the usual plug. If you need any help working with me one-to-one, we're having a lot of great feedback and success stories at the moment, which I'm going to be slowly feeding into the YouTube channel. Even though it's good for business, I don't like flooding my YouTube with all these success stories, just purely because I actually want to focus more on helping people with my content that can't afford the coaching or don't want to come to coaching by actually giving content, as opposed to just saying, here's a success story, which is why I don't actually post all that much success stories, because I don't like doing too many videos per week just because I don't want to flood your feed. And then if I'm taking up all the feed with just success stories, then people don't really get the value from learning from me, which is why I don't actually do that many. But there's going to be more feedback and success stories coming soon. I highly do recommend the membership. There is tons on there that you can get. It is really worth it. It's only £6 per month for the smallest tier or £10 for the biggest tier, which is, from my understanding and from what I've heard from a few other people, like a lot cheaper than a lot of other LOA coaches. So I would highly recommend you check it out. And yeah, thank you so much for showing up to this live stream. I highly recommend you go binge watch all my other content just because it helps me out. And I hope you all have a very good rest of your days. Bye-bye.